Hi again, everybody. Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer with you from PNC Studios here at Hallis Hall. Week 12 upon us and another trip to East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Bears and Jets will meet at MetLife Stadium. So knowing what that place is like, what it's going to be, blustery conditions likely in that area of the country, and the Bears already being there one time, does that make any difference at all in terms of comfort on the road for this match?
Yeah, same team hotel. You know, they know the flight pattern. They know the distance in between the first bus and the stadium. And all those types of elements are already behind you. So it's about just getting prepared for all the green facade that they'll put inside the stadium rather than the blue giant facade.
The Jets definitely have a very faithful fan base as well. They're a little irritated at the moment with the quarterback situation. As of this taping, we don't really know who's going to quarterback either team. We'll get into that with Justin Fields in a moment, but the reviews haven't been good, and certainly they had a difficult time with the New England Patriots in 2 games, but they had won 5 of 6 at that time, so I don't know what's going to happen. We could be seeing Joe Flacco or Mike White at quarterback. The Bears with Justin Fields, not sure what the shoulder situation will be. Again, we'll find out later in the week, but let's just safely assume he's going to be good and ready to roll. What's he looking at with this Jets team? Because the defense is one of the best in the league. Very aggressive, very productive.
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about the Jets defense, then we have to talk about the Bears offensive line, because that's where the trouble lies. This defensive front is as good as you can get. They put a lot of pressure on the opponent's quarterback when they want to throw the ball, and they're super physical against the run. So that's going to be the main ingredient here, is how sustained the protection can be by the Bears offensive line to allow the quarterback time to see what he sees downfield, because there are some defensive backs you can take advantage of. But Justin is still a super threat in the NFL. He's one of the most dominant athletes in the NFL. So if he does play, you know, I don't want to say, oh, you got to play on the side of caution. You just got to go out there and be able to play. And, you know, hopefully he's healthy enough to do that. And if he's not, you know, the other quarterbacks have been here since the beginning of the year, and they know the system.
Yeah, Trevor Siemian being one, a veteran in this case. The way that he was defended in Atlanta, I speak of Justin Fields, what popped out that maybe the next team can use despite different schemes? Immediate
pressure. Make Justin Fields make a decision whether he wants to run the ball or try to get the ball out of his hands as a passer. And so when you look at what the Atlanta Falcons did, they brought guys from different areas in unsuspecting spots at times. And it's all about, you know, creating anxiousness within Justin. And sometimes he's anxious and he can make you look bad by making you miss in space and turning pressure into a 25-yard run, or else trying to get the ball out of his hands a little bit beforehand, like, for example, the pass they missed to Darnell Mooney. You know, just a little bit of pressure, throws the ball a little early, and then an overthrow. If not, it's a touchdown.
All right, let's take a look now at Zach Wilson. Assuming he starts, what is his strength?
He's got an arm talent. He understands how to throw the ball. He comes from a system in BYU that they kind of grow quarterbacks in terms of passing there. But you also have to have complement of a running game and the pass protection that he gets. And they need some deceptiveness in the offense that they really don't have. So a lot of the pressure is on Zach Wilson. And when you get drafted that high, you don't have development time. You're expected to come in here and be a star immediately, and I think that's a little bit unfair, because we've been around enough quarterbacks now in our time in the NFL that everybody's not on the same pace.
They had a really good run back in Breece Hall, Iowa State. Shout out Iowa State. Yep. David Montgomery's buddy followed him at Iowa State, out for the year.
Yes.
Michael Carter running the football. Do they still have a strong run game in your opinion?
They do, but not like they did with Hall. That guy was legit, and they knew when they took him coming out of college that he could carry the workload for the running back position. But now, because they don't have Hall and there's a little bit more pressure on Zach Wilson, it's kind of really an ugly scenario that you have, because if you can force the quarterback into making bad throws, it's increasing what you can do to them from the defensive side of the ball.
All right, let's talk about the Bears' defensive side of the ball, because obviously trying to find pressure is still an ongoing process. They did fire off some blitzes here the last 2 weeks. You know, Jack Sanborn's a really good blitzer. Jaquan Brisker, really good blitzer. Yep. Eddie Jackson blitzing a little more as well. I'm really impressed with that aspect of things. If it could even just cause a disruption without a sack and a tip ball, something like that, to get that defense taking that ball away again, that would be wonderful.
It would be. You know, the thing about it is we talked a little bit about the Bears offensive line. You got to talk a little bit about the Bears defensive line, because they need to play upfield. They need to get into the creases of that's which offered to them according to where they're lined up before the ball's ever snapped. And if they can increase the amount of blitzes they want to bring, and then you put the quarterback on the defensive immediately, and then I think the Bears defensive line can capitalize on their opportunities. So it's going to take an all upfront effort, but I do like the Bears defense that are willing to blitz and throw different guys at you.
All right, offensively, with the running game and David Montgomery and his role, 121 yards from scrimmage last week, catching the balls that he can catch.
Yep.
I think that gets him back feeling, okay, if we're not going to have Khalil Herbert, we got Treston Ebner getting his feet wet. David knows he's going to get big number of touches. I think that fits his game better.
But I would almost triple his pass outlet opportunities, because Dave Montgomery, you're not going to beat your head into a wall. And you still have to run the ball, and Dave Montgomery is as physical a running back as there is in the NFL. But I think he's under-respected in terms of a receiver. You know, the great pass that he ran down the sideline after hooking up with Justin was awesome to see. But he's the type of guy that if you don't know if he can sustain protection, get the ball out of your hand immediately. Get it to David on the exterior of the offense where he's facing third-level tacklers. And I think that he can turn a 3-yard catch into a 10-yard run.
All right, where are you going with your offensive player to watch today?
I'm going to go with David Montgomery, because as a runner, as a catcher, as a blocker, this guy is going to carry the load for the running back position with Khalil Herbert still being on IR. And he's capable of doing every one of those things at a high level. So David Montgomery is going to have a huge role in going out to the stadium.
Am I allowed to do more than one player here? Well, I'm going to go with the interior three of the offensive line. And for that matter, I might as well just put the whole guy in, because this team does stunt and play a lot of games up front, twists, all those moves that can cause some problems and cause gaps in your offensive line. But much like Grady Jarrett last week, and he had a really good game, you're dealing with Quinnen Williams. 8 sacks, he's got 30 quarterback pressures, he's forced to fumble, he's got the pressures, he's got the knockdowns. He's a terror right now. He's having a terrific year, and he feeds off that rest of the defense. Heart and soul of that unit right now. So I'm going with those interior three. Are you down with that as an offensive lineman?
Oh, yeah. I thought about that myself.
All right. How about defense?
I'm going to go with Eddie Jackson. And I haven't went with him all year just because, you know, he's the type of veteran now that's got respect in the locker room. I think he can deliver a message of his importance and the importance of the defense. And, you know, he's like a Jaquan Brisker, where he's a movable piece. And he can help make sure everybody's in the right position. And he's a good blitzer. He plays well at the line of scrimmage. He can play at linebacker depth. And like I said, he's a veteran that could be a go-to guy for some of these young counterparts.
I'm going with the jackhammer. I'm going with Jack Sanborn. He's just a football player.
He just loved to say that.
He's gritty. The blitzes that have happened here.
He's the best power blitzer the Bears have right now.
And emphasize and underline power, because you're exactly right. When he sees it, his instincts are on point. He goes, and that's what you're talking about. He blows through people.
Well, right. Last week he ran a blitz. The running back tried to stand up to him, and he hit the running back so hard he pushed him back into the quarterback. And that's a commitment blitz, because you're not always going to be able to head fake a running back out of position. You get yourself out of position. So you got to take the line that you're committed to.
No tiptoeing around there. No tiptoeing around. All right, so we've got Bears-Jets coming up on Sunday. Join us on the radio on WBBM starting at 9 a.m. with our pregame. Noon the kickoff. Ron, Jim, and Jay will be there as well. The Jets, a team at 6-4, that loss to the Patriots knocked them from first place to last place in that highly competitive division, but they're only a game out of a wild card. They've got the attention of the head coach. They will be a gritty bunch to try and knock off there in East Rutherford. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak, here from PNC Studios at Hallis Hall.